Hello, and welcome to the Bitcoin.review podcast, where we explore developments and projects with the people who actually make them happen. The show is supported by Pod 2.0, Sats Streaming, and CoinKite. If you're a new listener, I'm NVK. I run CoinKite, where we've been helping people secure their Bitcoins for over a decade. We make the cold card and fun products like the block clock. You can find more information about it on coinkite.com.
Hello, and welcome back to the Bitcoin.review, the podcast about the price. We're going to be talking about the Bitcoin price for 2 hours and 45 minutes. And today with me...
Finally, somebody to tackle the hard conversations.
There you go. Somebody already tackled my opening. Nobody knows anything is the quote of the day. Very appropriate. Mr. Justin, unemployed Justin, welcome back to the show.
It's great to be back. It's been a while. I haven't paid attention to Bitcoin at all in a couple months, so I'm curious to hear what the price is these days.
Mr. Paul, future Paul.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I have also pivoted. So
this is the unemployment show.
Mm-hmm.
So I have two great candidates here. They're going to fight to the death for a job at doing some web design for Bitcoin.review.
Yes.
What a time, huh? To be unemployed. Perfect timing, guys.
I really nailed it. It's great.
I love it. I guess, I mean, where do we even start after an opening like that? Do you guys want to address any of your current gigs or previous gigs, or do we move on?
I can talk a little bit about what we're doing now. I do like at Mutiny, we'd always talk about how we're going to have the best wallet right in time for the bull run. So we got one part right. But yeah, so the pivot, we are kind of coming a little out of stealth now. We're doing this thing called Open Secret. You can go to opensecret.cloud. Basically, it's like an encrypted backend. So trying to kind of improve the UX of like private key management and encrypted data storage for app developers. So, and we also have like a demo product called Maple, which is an encrypted AI chat. So if you go to opensecret.cloud, you can find stuff about that. So
no, it's very cool.
What is an encrypted AI chat, Paul? Could you explain that?
Well, it's like there is a coin, and you buy the coin.
I asked Paul. This hairy guy keeps interrupting.
It's encrypted from the browser to our server, which is running in a AWS enclave, to the GPU. So nobody in that whole chain can see what you're chatting. And we also store your history, and we also can't see that. So thanks to the power of cryptography that puts the crypto in crypto, we even have attestation that you can verify from your web browser that we aren't looking at your chats. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool stack, and it's basically a demonstration of what Open Secret is going to make possible for regular devs.
We should get you to implement that on unleash.chat.
Yeah.
There's some users there.
Yeah, stop spying on your users.
Yeah, no, we can't see their stuff either. Like we architected so we can't. We would have to build tooling. If we build tooling, you could see it because like you still can't encrypt on the GPU side, right?
No, this is encrypted through to the GPU.
But then the GPU can see it.
If
if the GPU can see it, you can see it.
No, the H100s have the same kind of secure enclave thing all the way to, so it goes all the way to so it's operating on encrypted memory. So yes, if you are literally a transistor inside of the GPU, you might see something spicy go by.
Just like what's SGX? No backdoors.
Yeah, exactly. It's yes.
We promise.
Very similar trust model.
No, but it's already a huge leap. Like, listen, you can't run shit on servers and think that people can't see it. It's just that like it's great when the people working at the company can't see it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge improvement.
Right. You're making this the default. Yeah, like don't store your life savings in this kind of system, but this is a lot better than your average like unencrypted Postgres database.
Yeah, that would be great. It's like you ask ChatGPT, how many Bitcoins there in just 12 words? And money gone. All right. So where's my list? It disappeared here. Justin, do you want to pitch anything?
No. I'm these days I'm mostly making pizzas and chicken wings, and I basically have opened up a restaurant in my apartment at this point. My entire porch is just full of Weber grill accessories, just like from floor to ceiling.
Nice.
Pretty unbelievable.
I do have a fatty sticker in a few pieces of luggage I have. It's like a nice little circle, shiny circle.
It's a great circular sticker, as you said, in a circle.
It's a circular sticker in a circle. And it's shiny.
Yeah. Yeah.
The shiny should have given away. All right. With that, housekeeping. There's some new tutorials for ColdCard, and if people want to buy one, I highly recommend not waiting too long, because the price bump makes the inventory disappear. And if you're only changing your security when the Bitcoin price pumps, man, good luck. Do it in calm when the price is down, but it's still not too late. All right, urgent vulnerability disclosures. Critical severity, private key extraction vulnerability in SecP 256K1 node affecting ECDH. This was a node library, of course, is the JavaScript people who fucked it up, and is really bad, like really, 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 really bad. The attackers can retrieve private keys using low-order curve points through only 11 ECDH sessions. Math can be a bitch.
Right, so they re-implemented...
Of course, in JavaScript.
SecP in JavaScript, great.
And delivered through Node. Because there's nothing safer than going npm update my crypto library. Unsigned.
It says it's a binding.
It's probably the glue, right? Like how we have libng for ColdCard.
Okay, so not a full re-implementation, but somehow the binding still was bad.
Yeah, but how are they leaking the keys if they're not doing some math there? They must be doing a bit more than just the bindings.
Low cardinality curves. So there's some check that they don't have that allows the attacker to use public keys on low cardinality curves. So if someone knows what that means, they can probably have my money.
It's the wrong group. Where's Rindell when you need him?
Yeah.
Medium severity disclosure of hindered block propagation due to stalling peers. Another Bitcoin Core vulnerability allows attackers to delay block downloads by stalling peer nodes. So this one is more like the same sort of, not the same type, but the same effect as the previous one. I think essentially it can kind of like crash some Bitcoin Core nodes. Again, it's only a problem for people running like Lightning and stuff like that. Normal users, not a big deal. All right, Bitcoin software releases and project updates. Bitcoin Core version 27.2, net fix, race conditioning, self-connect detection in it, change shutdown order of load block thread and scheduler. RPC fix causes of calls to fuel PSBT errantly, returning complete equals true. PSBT check non-witness UTXO output early. Test fix constructor of message TX. A few other things. Electrs version 0.10.7. Support testnet 4. Enable LTO in release build. Don't sync mempool when Bitcoin D mempool is not yet loaded. Electrs is now like one of the main uses Electrum servers, right?
I think so.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of different like forks. Like I think mempool uses something like either a fork of this or this one.
Right.
Yeah, I think Explorer does too.
There is also what's it? Fulcrum. Fulcrum is supposed to be the high performant one, I think, or no longer true. I don't know.
Yeah, the B cachers are cornering the market on Electrum servers at this point.
Well, they have a concern about catching up with blocks, right? they're more invested than Bitcoiners are, right?
This is what you call a motivated developer.
That's right.
It's amazing what's possible.
That's right. Here's your 1 terabyte block. Now eat all that data and index it before 10, 20 minutes. All right. BTC Pay Server version 2.0.2. Critical vulnerability disclosure for Nostr or Blink plugin users. Without it, an attacker with access to a pool payment could drain the Lightning wallet without limit.
What is a pool payment?
It's like, I think those like LNURL, like invoice types, like you just tells the node to pay whatever if you're using one of the cards.
Wouldn't anyone with access to a pool payment be able to drain the wallet regardless, unless maybe there are limits or something?
Oh yeah, that's right. That's how the Bolt cards work.
Pool payment sounds kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
It looks like the bug was they were incorrectly marking the payment as canceled, even though it actually went. So you probably already had to have a valid one, I'm guessing.
Mm.
And then you.
Oh, I see. And then we're not checking on the limit or something.
Something like that.
Well, it's fixed.
I haven't played with BTC Pay in a few years. I would love to see where it is these days.
They've come along.
Yeah.
Like I'm just waiting for the Python version. The version 2.0 was out recently. Interface localization, new sidebar navigation. Looks like a bunch of updates.
This is huge.
Yeah, I mean they've been working in this sucker for like 6 years now, right? Like they started in like 2018. So they've I bet it's. I mean, it was usable in like 2019 or 20. When I was using it. Imagine it's pretty impressive now.
For sure. libsac 256K1 version 0.6.0. Add a new module for Moosig. Implements the Moosig 2 signature scheme according to BIP 327 specifications. That's pretty awesome.
At long last.
At long last. New CMake variable P256K1 append LD flags for appending linker flags to the build command. And they made a few changes. This is the GOAT crypto library. Not the Node version. Sorry.
When was Taproot? Like 2-3 years ago? And
More.
Moosig was one of the big selling points of it. And it's amazing that it takes like 3 years for that. This is a good example of how hard cryptography is. You're like, oh, we have a new cryptographic primitive. Now we can do this thing called Moosig. 3 years later, right?
And then Persian cat meme comes about, it's like, eh?
Yeah. And it's not because the people working on it are not working on it, or, you have the brightest people in Bitcoin working on it diligently, and it still takes 3 years. Like that's a good example of how difficult cryptography is.
But that's the difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? On Ethereum, they'd have just push the server on Friday. Fuck it, the day after.
Yeah.
And money gone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's kind of a big deal, especially the guys do the hard work of building the math, and then you have to implement it on the library, and then you have to create the bindings. And then you have to create the actual client software that uses the shit.
I mean, security proof and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then it's a lot. And these things are a huge fucking deal for the wallets to also implement too. Somebody has to write those tests.
Well, speaking of Ethereum, have you seen that price of Ethereum, Ethereum's price action in the last 6 months, where it's just in a band relative to Bitcoin, just going straight down?
It's pretty brutal.
It's the most beautiful graph I've seen in years.
It's the only price for that shit thing is 0. Bitcoin Keeper mobile version 1.2.18. Selected Electrum servers during app setup. Add support for 22s. Portal USB option enable for ColdCARD and Jade via the desktop app. Tap signer verify initial status and backup count. Receive screen now enables multiple addresses, a bunch of other things. The tap signer support is kind of cool. They do the other operations like changing the pin and doing other things too, which is nice. Ben is injected like a lot of life into the project there, and they're doing a lot of stuff. Liana version 8.0 template heaven. Liana daemon library, a new field for last poll timestamp was added to the.
It's pronounced daemon.
Yeah, I know. I can't. I'm too ESL, dude. I'm just too ESL. Respect the immigrants. Was added to the wallet table.
You're about 2 weeks too late for that, NVK. I'm sorry.
I know, right? Shit, I can't cross the border anymore. They're gonna ship everybody out. The new Bitcoin D28 version is now downloaded by the GUI and a bunch of other updates.
I gotta say, this is just a catastrophically long list, NVK. You guys have really been doing your homework here.
Oh, dude, you have no idea. You haven't been in the show.
This is like a 15-page list.
You came to the first, second, or third episode of the show, and then you got employed, and then you disappeared so that you wouldn't put your foot in your mouth during air. And then you come back, and we're professionals now, dude. Like, look at this. We got lists and shit.
It's really amazing. I'm really proud of you. Hudolfo. Is that how you say it? Hudolfo? It's Rodolfo. With the H, right? The Brazilians can't pronounce R's, I was reading.
Oh, my God. Chances of employment at CoinKite dropping to zero fast here.
Yeah. I mean, if I was, it would only last about 6 months, though, right?
No, did not even. Like,
that tends to be how it goes.
It'd be like, first thing he does is create a water cooler channel and says, good morning. It's like, fired.
I asked Peter one question in a GitHub issue, just immediately terminated.
It's like git close and fire. Like it literally drops. There's a script to watch for that. It kills all your access to everything quick.
I post a screenshot with a color scheme on my Vim, and Peter just terminates me.
That's right. I mean, he is on green, on black and green. There is no coloring.
Yeah, I know, black and green. Like one. Yeah, I know. That was the joke. You just explained the joke.
Yes, it was not clear. You know when it's not a good joke, right? Then you have to explain it.
Yes. Hudolfo.
All right, Bitcoin Safe version 1.0.0 B3. They updated a bunch of stuff. It's a little nice, interesting project. They help you set up your multi-sig, and also seems like a fork of Electrum in the GUI.
It's beautiful to see how many of these little multi-sig kind of coordinator projects. There's like 10 of them at this point almost.
It really shows how multi-sig is nearly unusable.
When's Junction coming out, Justin?
Yeah, me and Paul did a little work on a multi-sig thing a couple years ago, and I kind of was like, Jesus, I don't want to try to convince people to use this.
This is the problem, right? Like, it's like, there's always those people on Twitter, they're like, no, multi-sig is the solution. And I'm like, dude, have you ever looked under the hood at the amount of like room there is to like completely footgun yourself? it's really bad.
I mean, I still love it. Like,
yes, no, I use it.
I set one up, and it is very like, if you can get it, it is very, gives you a lot of peace of mind.
Yep.
But it was kind of overwhelming for me, who knew every nut and bolt of what was happening, to get it, to get the whole thing to work.
It's terrifying.
Yeah. But you can ease into it, right? You can set it up and put some money in and kind of try on testnet a couple times.
I think the best thing for most people is like, use single sig passphrase. Once you're comfortable with that, very comfortable with that, then you go and you set up, like you go on Sparrow or something, you set up a 2 out of 3, do it all yourself, get used to that, send and receive some money, test some shit, figure out where you're going to put 3 backups. And then slowly, right? Like, because the thing is, a lot of these protocols are this sort of like assisted multi-sig setup. They're very custom. It does sort of like, it could hurt you if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, it was funny. I opened Sparrow a while ago, and it hit the import wallet button. And an import wallet gives you a menu of about 30 different wallet formats that you can import. It was almost comical. Every one of these wallets has their own format.
Yeah. Yay. BSMS was going to fix everything. It didn't.
Yay, open source.
Yeah.
Open source is going to take over the world, Rudolfo.
It is. It is. Open source is great. Protocol should be open source. RoboSats version 0.7.2, improved recovery robot form, and a bunch of other updates.
What are Nostr order books?
Yeah, so I think they're using Nostr to do the whole bids and asks
That's pretty fun.
the way it should be. Hopefully with ephemeral keys, but otherwise all your bids and asks they're public on your Nostr Twitter.
Yeah, that's really neat. RoboSats seems like one of those ones where a community really developed behind it, and like they're really moving forward. Excited to see. I mean, they have some like volume stats I think on their website. I remember seeing that at BitDevs. Like it seemed like it's been growing.
I mean, they've been around. Like we've been covering them now for at least a couple of years.
Yeah, if you go to learn.robosats.com/stats, it's pretty consistent up and to the right.
Great. Bitkey Firmware version 1.0.91, faster transaction signing. Hardware now signs transactions up to 5 times faster. Raspiblitz version 1.11.3, optimized to run on plain Debian 12 Linux for Proxmox VM. Raspiblitz, it's cool, by the way. People should check it out. ESP-Miner version 2.3.1b1, rework how we publish artifacts, use the same ESP expressive IDF release for GitHub and VS Code.
ESP-Miner is an ASIC miner for ESP32. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, the BitX thing, right?
Yeah, it's like a lottery mining, like
okay,
you barely make it through like one round,
Huh. That's cute.
BoltzExchange, the client and the web app got updated. All right, Project Spotlight. Frost, a flexible, round optimized threshold signature library for BIP 340 Taproot. What isn't this Frost? Or is this some implementation of Frost?
This looks like a different implementation. CMD Druid. It's not like it's just in his personal GitHub.
Just same name.
Yeah.
Great. That's definitely not going to cause confusion.
Oh wait, is CMD Druid? Who is this? Is this Topher? Feels like it's Topher. Yeah. I think I think we know him.
Yeah. Wait, is this is it in JavaScript?
Yeah.
No, it's TypeScript.
Sorry, TypeScript. Yeah, because he was doing bit escrow stuff, and he was telling me that his like next project he wanted to do something like this. So
yeah.
ColliderScript, Covenant in Bitcoin via 160-bit hash collisions. The paper introduces a method for enforcing covenants on Bitcoin outputs using hash collisions in SHA-1 and RIPE-MD 160, allowing covenants without Bitcoin protocol changes. That's nuts.
This is like insane.
Oh yeah.
This is weaponized autism right here. This is, if you've ever seen it, this is weaponized autism.
Carmen's been warning me about this. Basically, Polster got inspired by BitVM and basically is trying to see if he can like implement like opcodes that we don't currently have by just colliding the shit out of hashes. I don't really understand the cryptography, and Ben won't read the paper for me yet to explain it to me, so I don't know what's really going on. But the idea is like, can we do enough work and make a script under 4 megabytes so that we can actually put it on the blockchain that emulates opcodes, and then basically it kind of in a kind of a weird way it sort of pushes along some of the soft fork discussion. It's like, well, we could emulate some of this stuff like really inefficiently. So just,
Yeah, so the basic thing is like we might already have opcodes or covenants, but like,
all this shit never fucking goes anywhere. It's like BitVM. None of this shit goes anywhere because nobody that is sane puts real money in any of this shit.
I mean, I think as Bitcoin matures, it's good to have these people exploring the solution space.
Oh, absolutely.
No matter how stupid or crazy it sounds, because you can, maybe they find something. So I think it's a great thing that people are, people do these crazy research experiments. But yeah, I don't know if how practical. Most of them don't turn out to be practical.
I see. The research side, absolutely. I love that. It's the problem is like when people start then selling the thing as if it's like, BitVMs is coming tomorrow. Look at my shitcoin on BitVMs. It's kind of triggering. But,
one thing I like about this one, the work to spend our covenant is about 33 hours of the Bitcoin mining network. But to break our covenant requires 450,000 years of the Bitcoin mining network. So,
okay. So this is so impractical, you couldn't even use it really, unless you were like Riot mining or something.
But like to put it into context, like maybe I don't know, 6 months ago, when Polster started like explaining this to people, he's like, I don't know if I can do it. So the fact that he's got it to the point where you can do it in 33 hours of the Bitcoin mining network is progress in his terms.
How much hash rate does Riot have? Like 10%, 5%?
I think it's something like that. Yeah.
So if we extrapolate that, say times 20. So, like, if he employed Riot, it would be 660 hours.
Yeah, just ask Pierre. Maybe Pierre can put the word in.
Hey, guys, can we use your mining facility for 660 hours?
That'd be a fun bounty. You just lock something up with this, and then.
Hey, Pierre, I'm looking for a little proactive security. Do you think I could have your entire hash array for a week?
That's right.
Before we move on, I do think that Polster needs to get back to his true mission of onboarding the Amish onto the Bitcoin network. As you said earlier this week, NVK.
Yeah. Did I?
Yeah.
Okay.
You responded to me on Twitter.
Oh, right.
You mean with his paper wallet stuff?
Yes. The Amish delivered Pennsylvania to Generalissimo Trump. Mm. So, we have to pay them back.
Kind of like what a brilliant move. let's pick up those people. Those people who forgot about them. Don't fuck with raw milk is the lesson.
Yes.
GreatRSI, the GreatScript restoration interpreter, a repository contains experimental potential interpreters for GreatScript restoration, a proposal aimed to re-enabling the refining Bitcoin script opcodes. Oh man, I have love and hate for this project. It's like, of course, us nerds love it. Of course, the economic actors are probably going to hate it because it's like changes in risk. So it's going to be interesting. Boltzmann TS monorepo, a TypeScript library computing the entropy of Bitcoin transactions and the likability of their inputs and outputs.
Like linkability.
Yes. So de-anonymization project, I guess, for testing.
It's just lovely to watch, to be able to participate and listen to NVK practices reading.
Right? It hasn't changed much since K-12. and this is me reading fast. Bitcoin Hackerspace and Community Accelerator PlebLab launches PlebDev and a new Bitcoin developer education platform built on Lightning and Nostr.
So this is kind of fun. PlebDev. So Austin is the guy behind PlebDevs, and he's been going to PlebLab for a while. He works for Voltage, and he's basically making his own online education platform where you kind of learn to code, but also learn how to build on Bitcoin. And we went over his UI in Austin Bitcoin Design Club, and also PlebLab just moved under the same floor. So now we have Bitcoin Commons, we have PlebLab, and we have Unchained, all basically in the same floor in Austin. So it's kind of fun. I feel like there's some nice community consolidation going on.
Neat. SatSale, a Lightning Bitcoin payment processor with the option of connecting to your own Bitcoin node or Lightning Network node. Lightning Bitcoin payment processor written easily deployable in Python. There you go.
That's what we like to hear. Python. That's just great.
That's right. All the Rust hipsters, they don't understand that all new languages come and go.
It's by Nick Farrow, but
Yeah.
the last commit was in May. But it's by Nick Farrow, so it's good provenance.
Nice.
Yeah, he's been doing this one for a couple years. He's now doing the Frost Snap hardware wallet.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're moving in on you, NBK, all these hardware wallets.
Yeah, any day now. No, it's a very cool project. I really like the little snapping thingies.
Let's see if they can make a clock.
I think the challenge with things like that is it's gonna be using like ESP32 is not a fantastic platform, and USB is a problem. But there is nothing like, I mean, if they can prove the concept of that script type, right? Like and that sort of use of it, it shouldn't be hard to move that into something more usable, like an NFC sort of tapping dance thing between different devices and more conducive to phone use. Imagine, like, I mean, not hard to imagine Google or Apple deciding, hey, you know what? Do you know that USB command you are using? Yeah, it's not available in this new update. You know, like how Apple broke the rights to FAT32. They were like breaking the SHA-256. Sorry, the SHA-256. So they were breaking the any right really that were going to cards. So when you had things that had to be checked, like you checking the signature of your COLDCARD firmware on a microSD card. Oh yeah, it doesn't check. So COLDCARD says no. Anyways, email BTC. Send Bitcoin to anyone that has an email address. That's cool. How does that work?
It is a very good pitch. You know, I think we need more of these things that are like, you know, an idiot can do, right? So that's, I mean, it's kind of the UX we all want.
Do they hold the Bitcoin in transit or something for somebody?
No, it says non-custodial. There's something called near signatures, which I've never near chain signatures. Near chain, word chain, that's terrifying.
Yes, as soon as there's chain, there's a shitcoin or something.
Oh, I don't like the word chain.
They're using multi-party computation.
Oh, okay. Dude, but MPC with ECDSA is like really asking to be like, you know, owned.
Yeah, but this is for payments, you know, like
yeah.
If you're just like doing Venmo, you don't need like world-class security, you know, like
yeah.
If you can just get a really easy user experience, it might be worth it, right? Like people love Lightning addresses, right? And a lot of those aren't you know terribly secure, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you know people say no, but this is the solution for all your Bitcoin, and then you know it's like a classic. All right, cross script attack, Lottie Player JS, a popular open source NPM package for web players, was compromised with a wallet drainer. Oh man, amazing.
I wonder what exactly this means. Like, in what context can it drain stuff? Oh, it's a mobile library. Interesting. Oh, Lottie. I've heard of Lottie.
Oh,
yeah. It's like for fancy animations.
Mm.
So it's like, I think it's for React Native, because Airbnb does a lot of React Native.
Yeah.
Always run your phone in lockdown mode, guys.
There's Lottie players for like every single like front end you can imagine. So like web, React, Native.
Yeah, it could be.
Swift.
Could be. So yeah, like if you have if you use this library to give a nice flashy little animation when your app loads up while it's loading the data, if you did a bad update, then if you updated it, now all your users' Bitcoin could be gone, right? If it's a hot wallet. So it is. It speaks to like that is a big problem in software development. Is the supply chain attacks. It's pretty terrifying. Any real non-trivial software project ends up with so much code that isn't audited.
Yeah, I mean, the solution is stuff like, see, when us cranky people go and say on Twitter, like the UX can't be too nice, can't be too easy. It's because the other people that make the stuff be too nice and too easy always end up using fucking libraries that they don't audit, and people get owned. Like ugly and simple goes a long fucking way.
So it looks like somebody compromised a developer who had an access token to publish to NPM.
Always.
Yeah, so it wasn't in the source code. They didn't get a bad thing into the source.
Right. Lottie didn't have anything wrong in their code, but somebody pushed an updated version of the package using a compromised access token to NPM. And then everybody who uses the package updated.
That's exactly what happened to Ledger Live when they had somebody took over either the CDN or some other package releasing thing of JavaScript that I don't fully understand, and they replaced the library there. And then they managed to take money off of some fucking weird smart contracts or whatever that people had on their Ledger Live. But this is the thing, right? Like it's man.
Yeah.
This is also the same thing that happened on, was it Ubuntu? Like there was this big vulnerability like 6 months ago in Ubuntu, where it was just it was mostly like a build environment problem, right? So this is an example of why open source isn't the cure-all, right? Because you're in this case the vulnerability, the code, there's nothing wrong with the code, but the artifact that was built that went into projects was tampered with. But reproducible builds, deterministic builds would fix this, right? Like totally deterministic.
Well, kind of, because you still don't know the phone is loading, right? Because it's still like the phone is still like the app still go through the walled garden closed black box.
I mean that is true. If you have a React Native app that's hot loading your JavaScript bundle, right?
Dude, if you run, like, I highly recommend people run your phone in lockdown mode and see how many apps don't even load. They actually it's just blank because they're just loading everything from the web. I bang on this on almost every show. Like, hardware wallet developers should not have a fucking wallet. Okay, it's like you are either the signer or you are the transaction creator. You should not have both parts, because if you have both parts, you can make some very bad transactions that the people may not notice and sign it. So you really want a two vendor to be part of this dance, especially when it comes to like decent money. And we all know that one sats today is $1 million tomorrow, right? Like, so it's man, it's so fucking annoying. It's
I also think it's interesting in their incident report they list the SHA 512 of a known good version. It's like, how nice would it be if JavaScript dependencies involved hash and signing during normal course of events, not just during an incident response.
Talking about dependencies, I went to take a quick peek at one of these very common DIY hardware wallet projects, and Jesus fucking Christ, there is even Vim there.
Nice.
It's like the full Linux stack, like the whole thing, just sitting in your hardware wallet. Amazing. There's even a user table. Fascinating. It's okay. People need to get wrecked to learn. There doesn't seem to be another way. All right. Hackers misuse emergency data requests to access user data. TechCrunch. Hackers gain access to user data by exploiting emergency data requests using hacked law enforcement email accounts by bypass usual warrant requirements. Very interesting. So all you have to do is you just email YouTube and you say, this guy's a terrorist. It's like, here's his password. Pretty insane. The attacks will continue until the backdoors are removed.
Yeah, I love that. I think it was JD Vance on Rogan talking about how his phone and Trump's phone both got hacked.
Yeah.
I don't know if you already talked about this, but I thought that was interesting that he specifically said that he was told that the compromise, so it's not just those in the know, but the actual victim was told the compromise is based on NSA requested backdoors.
Yeah.
Yeah, involved from the Patriot Act.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, if you put a door,
Yeah.
it's like it depends on which thug is in power and which thug is going to have access to it. But some thug is going to get in.
The Chinese have had doors for thousands of years. They know their way around a door.
It's just been so hard to get this through into mainstream political understanding, I feel like. And so it's kind of nice to see that level of understanding reach the vice president elect.
It's not going to get there. It's like the phone, right? It's like people advocating for using the phone for real money, or for actual do or die privacy things. It's like, no, your phone is remote accessible by the spooks. Just know that. Can you prove it? Yeah, probably not. But just the fact that they allow you to use encrypted apps now that they don't have the keys for, it just says that they can see it some other way.
JD Vance also believes that his signal was not compromised.
I don't think the signal protocol is been broken. I just think that it's, the signal servers, the signal, the phone that you're using for your signal, everything else is compromised.
Yeah, or they're just reading your entire screen, right?
Yes, exactly, totally,
right.
And your face while you read it too, because they, these guys are all creeps, so they want to see all the angles. It's pretty brutal. Tor relays target in IP spoofing campaign causing widespread disruption. Critical zero-click flaw exposes Synology storage devices to ransomware and data theft. Ransomware I'm okay with, because if you have another backup, it's not a big deal. It's just fuck it,
Synology is normally
huge.
Your small business's backup.
Yeah, totally. It's backups should be on a couple drives via USB-C, and then you put them away, and that's it. And you just do that once in a while, and you're probably good. All right. Hidden risk. North Korean hacker group BlueNoroff deploy a new macOS malware campaign targeting cryptocurrency firms. The attack uses phishing emails disguised as crypto news. It's like, double your Bitcoin. Click here. BritneySpears.exe. Don't click on anything on it.
I mean, it's funny. They modify your ZSHN file, so they modify your terminal shell.
Yes,
that's pretty funny.
I know, right? But here's the thing: OS X doesn't ship with ZSH.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does.
It does?
Yeah.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah.
I'm still running my own.
Yeah.
Because I just keep on inheriting new systems, right? Just bringing it over. So I'm running my own.
Okay, boomer.
I did not know that.
It's funny that they're doing this to bypass macOS alerting. macOS.
Yeah.
People complain about these alerts, but I love this. You launch an app and it's hey, this app wants access to your documents folder. And it's hey, thanks for letting me know. I'm really great. I like that.
I like the copy and paste one. That's my favorite. It's why does this app want copy and paste access? It's it's an app to change the color of the screen.
Yeah.
Also run your laptops, your Mac computers on lockdown mode. It is surprisingly good. It's also kind of cool how many less ads I get on stuff.
Yeah, the really frustrating thing is that they don't let you. We had this problem in Mutiny, is that lockdown mode disables WebAssembly, and WebAssembly is getting used more and more on the web, and it makes really cool things possible. And a nice compromise was being able to add an exception.
No, see, WebAssembly is essentially a remote code execution Trojan. It's really brutal.
Okay, in my opinion, it seems relatively trivial to be sandboxed. But let's say you don't trust it, but you can still theoretically add an exception per site. But there's some bug that they added to Safari where you can't even add an exception.
It's not a bug. It's because the celebrity goes and adds an exception, and boom, all their nudes are on the internet.
No, it's a bug. I filed it as a regression, and they labeled it as a bug. Huh. So I have proof. Add that to your list.
You should submit it to the producer. All right, $5 wrench attacks. They keep on increasing. Target break-in, Bitcoin host and narrator Guy Swan. Yeah, I saw that one. So Guy Swan was at the Lugano Play B conference. Some guy entered his hotel room. It really goes to show that evil maids are real. Use devices. First of all, don't travel to Bitcoin conferences with your main devices. Second, don't stay in the hotel conference. Already a huge improvement. Don't use your real name to book hotel rooms. Yeah, I think the golden age of Bitcoin conferences for real Bitcoiners is pretty much over. Now it's like, just meet your friends.
I'll just go fishing with the boys,
That's right. Just go fishing with the boys.
MVK, we need to go walleye fishing someday up in Canada.
Nah, I'm not there. I don't know, man. Maybe the communists are not going to let us do that there at some point. I don't know. But yes, I don't like fish. I only like shooting food. I like fishing for food. I've tried.
You could shoot a fish, I think.
Yeah, I've tried. I've succeeded. But it is totally possible, might say. But the main problem is, fishing is boring as fuck. It's so fucking boring, man.
And he calls himself a Canadian.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I was not compatible. All right. What else here? A 23-year-old Ukrainian tourist visiting Phuket was ambushed in his friend's hotel by armed men. And then they threatened to break his fingers. Demanded he send 500,000, and he did. He said 200,000, so he negotiated it down. What a great way to start your day. I mean, these things always have a backstory, it's never that simple. This dude was probably bragging at a bar about something, or he pissed off somebody he didn't like that knew he had coins. It's always like that. Toronto cryptocurrency CEO Dean Skurka was kidnapped and held for ransom in daylight incident. I saw this one on the news there, and they paid $1 million in ransom, and the guy got released. I mean, stay classy, Toronto. Now you have taxes and crime. Wow, winning. Pick one. You can't have both. Gunman fatally shoots Antonio Vinicius Lopez Gritzbach, cryptocurrency businessman, and injures 3 others in São Paulo International Airport. Jesus, I thought it was, wow.
That's bad when it's at an international airport.
I know, right? Like on the parking lot.
It's like the one place, like everything's a felony. Like anything you do there is a felony.
Remember the shit really escalated with Escobar when they decided to kill some guy in the airport. It's like the airport is like one of those places where you don't fuck with, even if you're sanctioned mobster.
That happened the day I flew out of Mexico City.
Really? You were there for the Escobar?
I was spending the year off the internet, and I was in Mexico City for a robotics conference. I got on a plane, flew to New York, and the next day I pick up a newspaper and I start reading about this shooting that happened in Mexico City at the airport. So it happened probably a couple hours after I left.
Wow. Yeah. The world's going to get very interesting. I mean, the most salable money in the history of humankind is also great to take it from people because it's salable.
Is this a good argument for covenants?
Yeah, absolutely. We need covenants. We need on-chain enforced vaults, because then there is literally nothing you can do, right? And it's provable too. Yeah. I mean, we have all those trick pins and Duras systems, and plus multi-sig. You can slow down a lot, but sometimes the push will come to a shove, and it's a problem.
NVK, of all the proposed benefits of covenants, would you rank the vault use case as the most important?
Oh, absolutely. Everything else is just a waste of time. Sure, you can improve Lightning a little bit and do this stuff, but realistically speaking, it's when you have UTXOs that are worth everything, right? people's life savings and shit. You know, we got there with gold, right? And then because gold was so salable and reasonably portable with your chariot, people were stealing the gold, and then people outsourced the risk, right, to the banks, like to people who did IOU banks, so they could travel or pay remotely or whatever. But like somebody has to have the guns, right? When be your own bank means also be your own gun holder, right? And most people don't want that. Most people want to outsource the risk, the liability, and at the expense of their sovereignty. So
you can see a similar thing happening with the ETFs, right? Was it like
absolutely.
19 out of 20 just use Coinbase?
Yeah.
Right?
No, they don't have a choice. Like you can't just have a dude.
Yeah.
You can't just have the board of keys and shit. Like it doesn't work like that, right? So we need on-chain solutions.
Yeah, it's almost like separation of responsibilities for institutional custody, right? Like you have the guys that can sign and the guys that can say you aren't allowed to sign, right?
Yeah, I mean, cryptography. All cryptography does is just creates a key issue. You know what I mean? It makes all this cool shit, but now it's a key protection problem, right?
Yeah, every solution introduces another issue.
That's right. And like what we need is Bitcoin to be protected by math, not by guns, right? And that truly takes us to a whole other level. Because can you imagine, like, the best way to secure a Bitcoin is just simply not be able to sign it, right? So like somebody comes to me, like there's nothing I can do. There's no coin. There's nothing really. Like, it's going to take me months to go to different countries and all kinds of shit to be able to get something. So
in addition to that, that's a good step, but ideally that is the common case. So not just that some people can't sign, but that it's typical for high net worth holders to not be able to sign.
It becomes known that there is no point in physically attacking people because one, you're going to get shot back, and two, they can't sign. That's it. Like it really is that simple. That's why they don't go after high net worth people who have money in the bank, because like the bank won't let them take the money out. It really is like if you tell the bank teller that you're paying a ransom, they're gonna say no, you can't have it. And we need to get there with math, and covenants do give us that. So
yeah, I think if the current trends continue, you're going to have a lot of new parties participating in consensus and everything, right? And maybe the vault use case is the one thing that would they're not going to be convinced by ARC probably. They don't care, but better, more secure custody, maybe they'll get behind.
Right. Yeah. No, it's we can't escape that. Anyways. Software releases and project updates for privacy and other related projects. Reticulum MeshChat got updated at bandwidth and spreading factors for 2.4 gigahertz. So that's cool.
I gotta get this set up.
Yeah, dude, it's super easy if you want to just do it over the internet to get started.
Right, and then slowly add other COM methods.
Yeah, exactly. It's just there's just a file. You just keep on adding more COM set up as you add them.
That's sweet.
Matrix version 2.0, instant login, instant launch, instant sync, aka simplified sliding sync. Man, Matrix is one of those projects I want to love it, but I fucking hate it. It's so difficult. Like, it's such a fucking pain in the ass. And once you're stuck with one server, you're kind of stuck with that server.
I'm curious what it's like now. I haven't used it in a while, but it sounds like they've kind of rewrote a lot of their core stuff, and they're trying to address like some of the pain in the ass stuff. Like it would take a while to load a room because it's like basically decrypting everything.
Right.
So it sounds like they've addressed that with like sliding sync, but I don't quite know.
Yeah, the sliding sync is kind of a big deal. It's like I remember seeing demos of the old Electron app and this new one with sliding sync. Like from some developer who's in like 5,000 rooms. The old one would take 5 minutes to open. The new one would open in like 1 second.
Right.
So
that's awesome.
It helps performance a lot, but only for heavy users, mainly for heavy users, right?
Nice. I mean, I think MLS and like as soon as Signal adds big room support, I think a lot of this problems get resolved. Now that you don't have to dox your phone number anymore, the ratcheting system that Signal uses, I think, is way more reasonable. They did add multi-people calls now for video calls. Lightning plus L2 plus project spotlights, podcast boost dashboard, convert core lightnings, list invoices output to a podcasting 2.0 dashboard. Oh, that's cool. I hope the Podhome guys start hosting that because that would be helpful. zpay.live monetize virtually any digital content with Lightning paywalls. Bullish Nuts, a bullish cashew PWA wallet. Nut, a privacy preserving web search powered by Kaji and Cashew. Oh, I guess it's like a Kaji wrapper that you pay with Cashew. Cool. Tiny Pine, a simple LN and Cashew eCash POS system for merchants. Any updates or things with the Fediment?
Yeah, I mean they're just kind of marching along, making things more robust and reliable. They had a new release. I don't know if they've cut it yet. 0.4.
I don't pay enough attention. I'm just very curious. What happened to that smart contract thingy so that you could do mining pool payouts?
No one's implemented it. Still, an idea. There was a developer who was very interested in the idea. Named Kipman, who taking a little break. So hopefully Kipman returns and implements it. There's a couple other people who were interested who were talking about it. See what happens.
Very cool. Software releases and project updates for L2 Plus, Zeus version 0.9.2-RC, activity export transactions history spreadsheets, improved BIP 3.5.3 and Bolt 12 support, spooky theme, settings payments, and add slide to pay thresholds. Evan, if you're listening, can you make the default view be the balance view? That would be nice, and make it a little easier to swap between wallets or see all the different wallets in a multi-wallet view. So kind of like cards or lists for each of the different wallets you're connected to. That would be nice.
Look at NVK just stacking Lightning wallets now, just layers upon layers of Lightning wallets.
Yep. There's no other way, right? Like nothing works in Lightning. So you have to have multiple choices. So
you have to keep trying.
Trying to pay with this one. Oh, it didn't go. Try this other one. Oh, didn't go. Try this other one. Oh, yeah, that one go. And that one charged me 10%. The self-custodial Lightning wallets, man, the fees are just so fucking brutal. But it works. It's one of those things. It's it's a lot of pain. But at the same time, it's quite magical, right? It really is. Especially when you're sending zaps on Nostr, man, it really is fantastic. Or when you use Bull Bitcoin to pay people in South America and stuff, it's crazy. You just pay, Bitcoin Jungle or whatever. It just goes from there to the other thing, and the guy gets it's straight into his bank account. It's poof. And it is kind of instant. It's, yeah. It's cool. Living the cypherpunk dream. Alby Go version 1.7, LN withdrawal support, improved currency selection, boostagram info and transaction details, ride the Lightning, add support, send payments for AMP invoices on Lightning, on LND, a few other things, CL Boss, updated, Nutshell version 0.16.1, add support to LND via gRPC for LN RPC wallet, Nut15 mutiny payments for LN REST wallet, stability improvements.
Multi-nut payments.
Yeah. Thank you. Geyser, November 2024, email enhancements, creators can now choose between 9 different types, link posts to rewards and goals, link posts to goals, and a bunch of other stuff. Guys from Geyser, I tried to give open timestamps a sizable donation there, and there was no liquidity to receive it, so fix it. Clams Remote, version 2.4.0, add UI for Bolt 12 Prism plugin. Nostr. I'm not going to read... Oh, the Nostr project spotlights. Let's read those. Snap Nostr, create clean, customizable screenshots of Nostr posts for seamless sharing. Open Librarian, a website for tracking and sharing a love of books. Jumble, yet another Nostr desktop client. Honeypot, a multiple wallets, multiple currencies project by Pablo. Mutester, Nostr, live Nostr, muted list, live monitor. That's nice. Nostr Gadgets, high-level utils for developing Nostr clients based on Nostr Tools. Mostro Tools, TypeScript Mostro library for developing Mostro clients. Nostr is moving, man. Things just work. I've been testing the Primal 2.0, really enjoying the builds. It needs more Bitcoiners. I find that like there's not enough Bitcoiners there. We need more Bitcoin talk there. I also really would love to have like an Instagram type Nostr experience in a different app. Nobody provides that. Sharing photos. That would be cool.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, but more sort of, photos that you feel like okay posting publicly, like Instagram was way back then. It's kind of fun for people who like photos.
Yeah, I do think I'm sure this has been talked about a lot, but a lot of the problems that people had with Twitter have gone away, in the last year. So the market landscape in the last couple of years has changed dramatically.
And during the election, or even like right now, it's felt like very vital. It's like, hey, we're starting a Twitter campaign or an X campaign to make Trump do this nomination instead of this nomination.
Yeah, I mean, X is like the media, political, and cultural center of the universe right now, which is kind of insane.
And if something gets censored on YouTube, it like ends up on X.
Yeah, it's how you complain about censorship on other apps.
So I've been telling myself once like this election kind of thing blows over, I can kind of like either go off of social for a while or just go on Nostr. But
I think there's a few mistakes that like the Nostr folks are making. First of all, is thinking the competition is static or thinking you don't have competition, right? Like most people don't care how the technology works. If it feels like is what they want to feel like, for example, people want to feel like there's less censorship. They will go for the one that has the most amount of people. That's how networks work, right?
I mean, it does seem like I notice on my X now, like a handful of people who are leaving, probably because they think it's become too right wing and political or stuff.
Yeah, the liberals are fleeing to Blue Sky.
They're all going to Blue Sky and Threads. There's a lot of them on Threads as well.
Blue Sky is fully centralized too, which is retarded.
They post like sneaky like references to Blue Sky. Like they like, oh, don't look too hard, but you might see a butterfly in this picture.
Right. I mean, see, like I don't have any of those people in my feeds, so like I don't know them.
Yeah, I mean, I follow a handful of them who are just like really good software engineers, right? Who tend to be like very left, and you can tell they're sort of upset about what has happened to Twitter.
Yeah, it's. I mean, like this is kind of like it really feels like it's the public square. It's the normal public square, right? Like there is a dude vomiting, there is a dude screaming crazy shit, and then you're trying to have a conversation about where you're gonna go for dinner, right? Like that's what the public square literally is like. But like I think most people don't want free speech. Most people want like they want just a nicer cell, right? They want they want their censorship. Which is very fair. I mean, that's what filters are for. I just want the protocol to be open, and I think Elon is going to make even more closed. I mean, the best thing that could happen to Nostr is if they start censoring people on Twitter, but I don't think that's going to happen for a long time.
Yeah, that's exactly my point. Is like the reverse has happened, right? There's all these accounts that were banned, years ago that are coming back.
Yeah, and also like I think what the lefties have a hard time with is that like they're not funny, right? Like it's like commies don't have a sense of humor, right? Like
yeah.
and they are very thin skinned, so like it's always gonna sound like the free side or the people who are more righty are like louder and bigger on these things because they're just funnier. Like it's like the left can't meme, right? Like that was the meme. And So yeah, like, yeah, and I mean, I really hope that Nostr doesn't become like a commie shithole, because then I'm gonna need to censor that on my on my on my relay.
I was having a similar conversation with someone who works on Urbit, and they were like, our whole idea was that the internet was going to become like a censored ghetto, and you wouldn't be able to have any rights or freedoms on it. And, so you needed this whole operating system. That was their thesis. And they're like, well, our premise has been proven totally inaccurate the last, year. So now they're like really reevaluating.
This is always like the safety in line. Like, how do you kill Bitcoin? It's like, well, you make the US dollar really good.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the worst thing that can happen to privacy tools is when the centralized tools become more free, even though the underlying tech is still very closed.
Exactly.
Because you attract people, because centralized systems are more efficient, period. Like, you can't compete with centralized system on efficiency, right? And they already come with the Lindy of the network effect.
Yeah, I feel like right now I'm just getting to this point in my life where I'm just so sick of logging into things.
Right.
And like the auth, especially if you like to use lots of different services, and especially if you like to like work things together, like connect things together, like the fact that everything in the world is a SaaS that has a separate database and a separate login is really retarded. And I do think that's possibly the edge that Nostr could have still in the future, of like, by being public key based and trying to have standardized data formats. I think there's still a lot of opportunity there, but maybe I don't feel right now like I need a social media alternative.
We did this whole series, right? Nostr Rising series. There were like 1 hour episodes. We did about 10 of them. They're really good. People should go listen to them if you want to understand Nostr. And, I was talking to Fia Jaff. He made this point because, like, people say, yeah, but I don't see all the replies. And he made this point where it's like, Twitter is one relay, Facebook's another relay. You don't see other replies because, you don't see the replies on Facebook on your Twitter, right? And the big miss that these large companies are having is that, like, they could greatly gain from opening their networks. It's very counterintuitive, right? Because imagine if you have a way to see, like, for companies go and they post in every fucking network, right? And it's the same post, right? The same marketing post in every fucking network. And imagine if you could see all those replies in the same place, right? Imagine you as an artist, you post your art, and then all the replies from all these places come and show, and you choose how these things play out, right? So like, if Twitter like exposed their content out, I think it would have even more reach than they have now. It would be pretty crazy. I mean, Zuko probably wants some of that because Facebook seems to be dying. They make all their money from Instagram, and WhatsApp is the common carrier outside of North America, right? Like, you cannot exist in Latin countries without WhatsApp. Like, you talk to your lawyer over WhatsApp. There's no email, it's just WhatsApp. WhatsApp everything. You order food over WhatsApp, and all these segregated things, depending on phone numbers, it all feels like a house of cards, right? But it's also, I can see it, right? Like, why would you open your network if you're a top dog and have the risk of losing that monopoly on a network? It's very hard for you to be incentivized to open it. But I do miss the Twitter APIs. It used to be really nice when they had them. All right. Yeah, so a bunch of Nostr updates to every single client. By the way, there is now the feed marketplaces are really growing, which is really cool. That's common for most of the clients that are on this list that we would talk about updates. You can actually load different feeds like a marketplace. Like, you can create feeds and post them. And then people can subscribe to those feeds. That's superpower. What else? Boosts. Thanks for everyone who streams sats, and shout out to the top boosters. Ape Me for Deer. Not long enough, was still awake at the end. Man, I'm going to disappoint you again. This seems to be that we got to the list fairly efficiently. Odell is not here to take massive tangents, so the show does run faster. Just kidding. BTC on board. Great pod. Von Photo, thanks for the sats. Average Gary. Red, green, colorblind, wrecked from NVK trading advice. So yes, guys, You sell on red and you buy on green. This is not trading advice. Did you guys see that funny post about the chicken that makes trading calls? The guy figured out like he uses a chicken and he puts food like in the different calls, and then the chicken makes the call, and the chicken apparently outperformed like most traders on Twitter. It's really good.
I always like the anecdote that like traders in comas often outperform.
I saw a funny one that there's somebody tracking all the different stock portfolio things, and like Nancy Pelosi's stock portfolio is like up like 50-60% this year. Like the only mainstream one that was beating her was Inverse Kramer. Like Inverse Kramer just killing it.
No, I mean the Kramer one, it is amazing. Like I mean the his inversity consistency is remarkable. Like nothing like it, right?
Yeah, he's like an oracle.
He even called the U.S. election, right? He said Trump wasn't going to win. It is amazing. Tech tips of the day: Local Send, an open source cross-platform alternative to AirDrop. Go slow with this kind of stuff. You never know what kind of holes is there. Disable 2G mobile connectivity for iPhone devices using lockdown mode to help you protect against downgrade attacks from IMSI caches or fake. Yeah. So 2G doesn't have a lot of security, and same with GPRS. And that's how a lot of those spoofing cell towers are used in hacker conferences and things. Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, lockdown mode is good for everything. Just fucking run it on lockdown mode and then keep on annoying the developers of apps to fix their app to work with lockdown mode. That's the correct path.
I didn't know 2G was still in these phones. That's wild.
Yeah, it is. GPRS is used in payment terminals all over the world still.
Maybe in third world shitholes,
No.
like Europe.
Like many American states.
Nice.
You know, like
Mississippi and Europe. That's the only ones.
No, dude. Like, have you ever been to O'Hare Airport? Jesus Christ! It's like I just arrived in like Bratislava or something during the Cold War or something. It's pretty brutal.
Yeah.
And the politeness of the staff really makes you feel at home.
Yeah. Makes up for the lack of 21st century amenities.
Right. Exactly. Like walls. It's like essentially like a rusting hut. Man, U.S. airports are brutal. Highlights from recent Bitcoin OpTech newsletters, disclosure vulnerability we talked about, timeout 3 channels, factories, draft BIP for D, lack proofs. I think we talked about this on the last episode. I can't remember. Endolo and Florian, I can't say these names, man. Payment censorship in Lightning Network despite encrypted communication.
This came up at BitDevs. I don't know this specific paper, but the idea, a lot of these new payment, the Bolt 12 is based on this idea that we're going to communicate over the Lightning Network.
Right.
This works going forward. But basically, Bolt 12 is enough information to send a message over the Lightning Network to get the actual invoice from the node. So there's some nice privacy aspects to that, but there's also kind of a newfound reliance on Lightning as the communication medium.
Right. I mean, Lightning communication should really be done over Nostr. Lightning messages are brutal, very inefficient, and cost money. I don't think messages should go over a carrier that costs money. It's just not aligning the incentives.
Well, these messages are not, they don't cost money. That's kind of almost potentially the problem.
Really?
Yeah, it's like the same way that you kind of do get gossip and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So these are the unpaid communication that Lightning nodes do between each other. And now you can, part of Bolt 12 is to use that for requesting the actual invoice.
Okay. Blockstream opens its newest research center in Lugano. Okay, that's marketing. CasOS integrates Alby Hub, a self-custodial Lightning wallet and Lightning Network node. CasOS is a community-driven open source platform focused on delivering a simple home cloud experience. Cool.
I had to double take at that one. That was Casa's like 4 or 5 years ago. Was there?
I know, right? They're bringing back the Raspberry Pi. I thought that first.
And that was their original pitch. Was like, this is the sovereign computing of the future.
Right.
But it's a different project.
It's a different casa. Not mi casa, it's su casa.
Very good.
Huh?
Very good. Where's the Johnny? Where's the gong? Sound?
we need the gong. Yes.
Yeah.
Block refocuses on Bitcoin mining equipment, and Bitkey reduces investment in Tidal, shutdowns TBD, Block decentralized Web 5 project. I mean, TBD, right? Like TBD was it was the DID stuff and all those things. TBD got replaced by Nostr.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty big announcement, right? Like that was a whole business. I mean, like Block had like 7 business units, and this was one of them.
Yeah.
Right? So it's
TBD was going to be some sort of like decentralized exchange too.
Yeah, they were going to do remittances and have a big decentralized exchange and all these things. And
this is the problem. Like, if you hire a bunch of like researchers, you come out with research. If you hire business people, you come out with a business.
This is like the did stuff.
Yes,
they like standards and like committee meetings about standards, and they don't ship enough.
Yes, Fold app introduces insured deposits. That's cool. Fold went public, man. You can buy Fold FLD.
What exchange was it on? Was it on the Canadian one or something?
Yeah, I think they're listed on NASDAQ too or something. I don't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and. I mean, I've been trying to convince Will, the CEO of Fold, to become a meme CEO, like GameStop or something, you know. He can do a stock split because the stock is right now at $11. So it goes like sub-dollar, so he has a penny stock. And then he changes his mind on TV and brings it back. You know, like he can do all kinds of crazy shit.
Yeah.
That'll be pretty funny. They are offering a lot of banking services now. Strike introduces Bitcoin auto withdrawals. That's good.
I think they're kind of running the Sailor playbook too, or at least it sounded like that's one of the things they wanted to do to start kind of becoming a publicly listed, Bitcoin treasury. There's that company in Japan that's doing the same thing as well.
Yes, MetaPlanet.
Yeah,
Dylan did that one. Dylan convinced some people there. Yeah, I mean, it's like it really is amazing if you have like access to cheap credit. I mean, it's a money printer.
It's surprising more companies haven't gotten on board. It's quite shot. Like, I mean, think of all these Fortune 500 CEOs. With their thumb up their ass, watching Sailor being the third most.
Are you like surprised? Remember when Bitcoin was starting out? Like people would not buy Bitcoin because it's clearly for drug dealers. You know, it's just like it's hopeless.
I mean, I've been thinking about this a lot the last couple of days because at least it seems like
it's changing.
It's too early to say, but it seems like the nation states may be actually biting on Bitcoin, right? Like that's what these David Bailey and stuff is telling us. Who knows if it's true? But
I have a friend. I have some rumors.
Yeah. So, but I mean, like the price action is like seems to somewhat support it. So who knows? Like probably BS. But you do have sitting senators and the president saying it's going to the U.S. is going to do it. It kind of is interesting. Like maybe it seems like corporations are much more conservative when it comes to Bitcoin than potentially states are, which is kind of thought provoking.
I mean, nobody wants to lose their job making the proposition and the price goes down.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is like these people that get to the top of companies are extraordinarily conservative generally. Like they did everything according to the book, especially the finance guy. It's like the most conservative guy you've ever met. And I think maybe the people that get to top of states had to make some bigger moves, right? Like
have a guy killed.
Well, hearing the backstory of the whole Biden-Kamala thing is like funny. It seems like they tried to, replace Biden and have an open primary, and Biden is just like decides to blow the whole thing up by endorsing Kamala, right? It's like you get a sense of how that guy accumulated so much power. I mean, he's just like a brutal, player.
Yeah. 1031 launches Bitcoin Alpha, a new podcast. I can't tell if it's a joke or not because I'm getting 404. Oh no, Bitcoin Alpha. There you go.
I've seen Marty posting about it. This is Marty's 5th or 6th podcast at this point.
Okay.
I listened to one of the episodes. Very, very good stuff.
Okay, I'm going to listen to it. Clean Spark finalized acquisition of Grid infrastructure. Bitcoin mining. Yeah, this guy's Grid got acquired or merged. Nostr Social is now live in Australia and New Zealand. Not interested in this shit for this show. Funding. OpenSats announces 8th wave of Nostr grants. Farmster groups, co-op. Nostrability and NIP44 libraries audit.
NIP44 is not DMs. That's something I really want.
Yeah.
That could be a Nostr's killer app if it just had a good open protocol for DMs.
Yeah, so there is a better. The NIP44 is broken. It's like don't use Nostr DMs as they are. Jeff G is working on an MLS integration with Nostr that is like fully native to Nostr. It's great. It's really progressing. So that's moving along. Mini ratchets, all kinds of ratchets. We had a whole episode on it. Mining, Dutch telecom subsidiary MMS collaborates with blah, 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 digital blah, 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 blah. Moving on.
The Dutch have telecoms?
I know, right? With a K. Privacy. British activist and journalist Tommy Robbins was sentenced to 18 months in prison for failing to unlock his phone. Police. This is also fucked up. TD Bank anti-laundering money employee is indicted for unlawful distribution of customers' personal information. Classic. The KYC is the crime. Kenya to require incoming passengers to declare phone IME. Jesus Christ. Talk about tracking people when they come into the country. Apple adds inactivity timer feature to iOS 18.1 that reboots iPhones after prolonged inactivity. Why is that? That was the NSA remote watching getting hung up.
It says researchers confirmed the feature shifts iPhones from after first unlock to the more secure before first unlock state.
Okay.
So it's harder for forensic tools to extract your data if you go to a before first unlock state. That's cool.
Like with an iPhone, when you restart it always asks you to enter your passphrase again.
Yep.
The whole chain of stuff they do likely makes it harder to break into.
Yep. Always turn off your phone to cross borders. Ren crypto. Oh, phones really need is a decoy pin, right? You type that pin, it closes down the other session, and then shows some normie.
Everything can be fixed with a decoy pin.
Everything, seriously, like plausible deniability is your friend.
Yeah, it shows Candy Crush. Every phone needs a Candy Crush pin.
That's right. Ren Cryptofish, Steve Lee, and Lynn Alden published analyzing Bitcoin consensus risks in protocol updates.
I'm really excited there's a Citadel Dispatch episode out about this now too. I want to listen to that and I want to read through this, but they're trying to, as far as I can understand, they're trying to just paint a picture of how Bitcoin consensus actually works. And the actual risks, people have a lot of half-formed ideas about these things, and then we have conversations and debates that are typically, are often ill-informed, or just partially. There's just a lot of misunderstandings. It's a huge surface area to understand. So I respect them for trying to tackle this, and I'm excited to actually check it out.
I think the problem is every time somebody tries to do this, they get something brutally wrong, and then people are even more confused. I actually I don't think there is a fixed way of looking at Bitcoin consensus. I think it's it varies a little bit depending on what's happening in Bitcoin, because the players change and the players' sort of power change too, and that changes the dynamic itself.
And I think they even say that this is not a roadmap for how to change Bitcoin. It's just they're trying to be descriptive of how Bitcoin has been changed in the past.
Why? Let's leave it confusing so nobody can attack Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm saying it's not a roadmap. Oh, I see.
But any greater understanding, does inform people on how to change it.
Well, you don't want security through obscurity. Then just somebody smarter than you is going to figure it out.
No, dude. I don't buy that. I bet that most systems that are closed source became open source, you'd immediately find so many bugs that were just not visible for you to attack before. Some obscurity does help. You can't depend on it.
It's not really obscurity, though. It's disagreement, too, right?
There is that, too.
If I was trying to propose a soft fork in a year, I would maybe want to get everyone to agree on how soft forks are agreed upon and deployed before I attempt my move, right?
Well, isn't that kind of what would happen with Taproot? Like everybody, we like
it did happen.
The moment there was like an agreement on how to do a soft forks, there was like, I mean, I guess because we wanted Taproot, maybe Taproot was the cause of that.
Right. Yeah. Again, it's one of those things that it's not clear cut. And I think when people try to create a description of it that's fixed, they get it wrong. I'd love to read it. I should read it. I'm not trying to criticize them. I'm very curious about what they wrote. I'm sure it's a lot of good in there, but Bitcoin is still one of those things. It's like it's gonna keep on changing. The dynamics change, and
well, they also said PR is welcome. It's a living document.
There you go. Somebody's gonna make a PR there for Neil. And force push. BIPs 1676 updates the status of BIP 85 to final as it's now widely deployed. Oh, this was such a shit show. It's nice to see it. That is getting marked as final. LDK issue 3207 adds the ability to include invoice requests in the async payments and your messages when paying static Volt 12. Government and political stuff. Anything actually interesting here? Or just charges Aurum exchange operator laundering funds linked to the Silk Road. Bitcoin Fog alleged operator Roman Sterlingov has been sentenced to 12 years prison for money laundering. Money laundering is like just they just invent whatever charges, right? It's like a random sort of like, oh, you're sending the money this way. Jail.
It's the new tax evasion.
Yeah, totally. Argentina's central bank hosts a live Bitcoin mining art exhibit.
That Argentina one is kind of cool. It's like they're doing it like an art installation of with running ASICs. It's kind of cool.
That's cool. The Bank of International Settlements exits cross-border payments project mBridge. Sovereignty concerns arise over euro as European Union and European Central Bank debate control. Jesus, Europe is such a fucking communist shithole these days. Man, I feel so bad for my European friends. Like, man, it's weird how bad it goes there. Like, it makes Canada look like fucking like Disneyland of freedom events. BTC held the first ever large-scale Bitcoin conference in Nordics, Helsinki.
BTC hell. Interesting name for a conference.
With an E for Helsinki. But it doesn't pronounce right.
This is where they're gonna hash out all the consensus mechanisms. BTC hell.
That's right. List of reads: Ossification by Jameson Lopp, Quantum Computing Between Hope and Hype by Scott Aarson.
You can do it, NVK. You can do it.
One
more try.
Aarson.
Oh, there we go.
Analyzing Bitcoin consensus risks in protocol upgrades by Redfin, Steve Lee, and Lee Alden. Why I'm betting big on Nostr by HiveMind Ventures. The case against edits by Fiat Jeff. That's a good one. Digital Gold. Evaluating strategic Bitcoin reserve for the United States by Bitcoin Policy Institute.
That's what I'm talking about.
There you go. I don't want countries to have Bitcoin. Like, I don't want governments to have anything.
I don't want other countries to have Bitcoin. I don't want my country to have Bitcoin.
Well, there is that. Yeah, that is one way of looking at it, for sure. Hey, guys, did we miss anything? Anything you guys come to mind? I think we covered a lot today. Very, very efficiently.
I believe this is the longest list that has ever been, pushing the limits of GitHub gists, I believe.
Dude, no. We had lists that were almost 3 hours long. The lists are short right now. They get Johnny's talking here. They get longer, much longer, see? Yeah, it's just that Justin it's not used to hard work now for a while. So like, it's okay. Now that he's got a lot more free time, he's gonna be on the show more often. He can read his resume at the beginning of the show.
I'm a co-founder of the show, I believe.
That's right. You were in the
That's at
early
the beginning of my resume. Yeah. MVK had his tail between his legs at the beginning. He was just so frightened by the microphone. So we needed to,
100%.
to bring in some courageous alpha males like me and Odell
Yes.
to just help him get going at the beginning.
Wow. Justin and Odell is the alpha males here. Like, we're really a bottom show. Oh, guys, listen, thank you so much for coming on and being helpful here with all this commits and all this updates. Justin, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, see you next time.
Yep. I enjoy your creatine binge.
Yeah.
Future Paul, any final thoughts?
Bullish on the great script restoration. Let's do it.
Awesome, guys. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for listening. For more resources, check the show notes. We put a lot of effort into them. And remember, we don't have a crystal ball, so let us know about your project. Visit bitcoin.review to find out how to get in touch.